Hey everyone, I've been playing a bit more RPD recently after taking a few months break, and I thought an interesting video idea would be a more in-depth analysis of my gameplay. I really like watching my own games to help me improve, so hopefully it's also something you enjoyed too. This game I played yesterday, where there were no game offerings and we ended up on RPD. We have pretty bad spawns, with us spawning right in the back of the map, which takes us a long time to get into it, and the survivors all spawning relatively on or close to gens. You can see one person is already on a gen, and two people have a gen at the back, which they're already on by the time I reach them. While we have some downtime, I do want to say that this entire team played amazing. They were always really focused on objectives and split up really well whenever I was trying to spread pressure. A special shout out to David, who was always where he needed to be and hit me with some frustratingly perfect dead hards. Here I find both the Meg and the young Jin and chase them down, infecting the Meg, but here I decide to split pressure and go for the young Jin, wanting to get a few infections early on. Instead, I find and start trying to infect the David, who I really want to fully infect him down. He does some pretty good juking, but eventually gets himself into a tunnel, which I can fully infect him on. Then, in what might be the most costly mistake of the game, I swing into the wall and block myself. This lets David get the pallet, which he drops quickly and safely, and there's not much we can do to play around that. So we're just going to break it as fast as we can and move on. This allows the David to reach the god pallet in the stairway, which he drops. Side note, have they made pallet hitboxes bigger? Because I felt like I was so far away from that. Anyway, pretty much 90 seconds into the game, we lose our first gen, which is the helipad one that Jane was working on, and we really had no business going there. Instead, we're just going to keep on chasing this David down, who's actually leading us to the two fully infected other survivors on this gen. We went straight past our power and I decided to pick it up, going for a bit of an ambitious shot, but, you know, what's the fun? Anyway, we're going to keep on chasing this survivor, trying to get a few downs here because we really need some pressure. This puke would have hit the David if he'd gone right, but he went left and we didn't have time to cut off both. But still, he's going to go down here. However, I want a bit more from this puke, and this Meg, probably thinking that I was going to pick up the David, puts herself in a pretty bad position. This desk, there's like no chance of surviving against a Plague's power, so she's going to go down pretty quickly. I choose to leave her slug and go pick up the David, because I'm also concerned about that gen there, which I know has a lot of progress. Turns out to be a pretty costly mistake, if I'm honest. We're going to go after this infected survivor, but I'm not quite sure whether I should have gone back for the Meg or not, because as you'll see, the Jane was there and trying to pick her up. We get lucky and get the good version of this room, where the pallet is behind us and not next to that window. The young Jin doesn't last long here and instead runs away. However, I make a big mistake here. That young Jin was basically a free down because the pallet on her right was gone. And instead, I choose to come here and try and punish the unhook, and it's the Jane that's not fully infected. I also should have hit the David, triggering his BT and putting him in deep wounds. It would have given me a bit more time, making him mend, and the Jane would still have been captured. Jane does a frustrating dead hard, knowing I have to swing around the pallet if I want to hit her before she bolts, and dead hards into it instead. One of the main reasons I still hate dead hard. I do think slugging the Jane here is the correct decision. Discordance tells me there's two people on this gen and I really want to push them off it. Plus, I can defend the gen if I run them back into her, which I do. I quickly down and pick up the Shun Jin, hoping to put her on the Scourge hook and then pick up the Jane. Turns out, however, I should have done it in a different order, as this David picks up the Jane and then does a perfect dead hard. I can't stress enough how much of a good play this was. If he let me hook her in the main hallway there, and then split the map, defending both the hooks and the gen, this would have been game over for them. Plus the dead hard to stop them from snowballing even further by going after the chain was just amazing. Anyway, he does a good little fake here on the pallet, but this is not a strong pallet. But he buys him a few good seconds to get the gen going before I manage to pain res it. Intentionally or not, they actually do a good job of splitting up here, going towards this hook, with one person going on the left and one person going on the right, so no matter who I cut off, they're going to get the unhook. Instead, I just decide to turn around and go for the gen instead, trying to protect it. This may have been a mistake, because it gives the person a long head start because of the long corridor, but I don't know, it's hard to tell. What I do know is that I need this chase to be really short, so I decide to use my second pool. Thanks to this combination of pain resonance and barbecue, I know which is the most progressed gen now, but I want to get a bit more value from my power, so I try and cut the person off running through the main corridor. Turns out it's a Jane, and we get a few health states really quickly. If anyone wonders why I go for these long range shots, even though it's a pretty bad way to play Plague, it's for moments like these, which are just beautiful. After 1,000 hours on her, you gotta find some way to spice it up. Thanks to my add-on, I see the Yunjin's aura when she cleanses and decide to infect that gen, guessing that she won't want to get infected right after she's just cleansed to keep working on it. But for now, my attention is on this one, which is the one that I know is most progressed. It's not as far along as I feared, but I still want to push people off it. This David goes for the blind here, which is something that I really don't recommend against Plague. I can literally hear him every step of the way, it's just losing him distance. Seriously, this guy's dead hearts are so annoying. I waited a good few seconds behind him and went a whole few spins, and then I only tapped my M1 instead of lunging to give him less time to react. This dead hard may genuinely have won them the game, because with that pain res hook in a 1v3, I might have been able to control the last gen and come back. In a 1v4, I basically can't, especially because everyone knows about the gen and is trying to complete it. I picked this meg up, trying to get a quick hook before I go back to the gen upstairs, but I should have RP'd faster, because I'm so close to stopping it, but they get killed. That meg, by the way, had adrenaline. In fact, 3 of them did. I really want to slug the meg here, because if I just kill the David, the other survivors are just going to leave, and I at least want the 2k. This proves to be the correct call, as I do get the down on Meg and the kill on David. This might be another mistake here. Looking at it, I think I should have fully infected and downed the Jane here on what is a pretty weak pallet, hooking her in the middle corridor and letting me control the center of the map. However, I decided to go after a fully infected survivor with my power, but because of RPD's tight corridors, it takes me way too long to do this, and Jane immediately goes for the pickup on the Meg as well. In fact, the more times I watch this over again, the more I'm convinced I'm correct that I should have actually kept on the Jane there. I get a case of mistaken identity here, thinking that the person in this courtyard is the Meg, but it actually turns out to be the Jane. Instead I should have gone after the young Jane, killed her, and then transitioned on to the Jane, but I get a bit distracted. She does a good job of juking my power, but she's got 15 seconds to outrun and she's not going to be able to. Both of these survivors do a really good job of splitting up here, because if they went the same way, they would both have died really quickly. Instead, I'm forced to choose which one to chase, and choose the Meg, going for a quick down on her. I pick this Meg up as fast as I can to try and get a barbecue read on the young Jin, or stand in the middle to try and cut her off. Turns out though that she's already slipped past me, because she gets infected picking up the last survivor. Here, the survivors decide to rush the gate, which I personally think was a big mistake from them. I don't think the young Jin expected she would get infected so quickly. I'm not quite sure what Jane was expecting here. First of all, I can see her. Second of all, she's left scratch marks running right up this gate. And I can definitely get her fully infected and down before she reaches the exit. Except I also mess up and swing from too far away. But she also had dead hard, so kind of evens out. They also don't quite heal tech correctly, and I managed to get the pickup, which actually gets me the 3k, which is a result I never would have expected from the start of this game. Even if I had down that Jane, I don't think I would have been able to kill her, due to the lack of hooks in the entrance area. Whatever the results, someone was getting out there. Looking at perks, I feel like Plague was one of the few killers that might have been able to deal with this. Triple medkit with a boon, as well as 3 dead hards and 3 adrenalines, would have been hard for most of the killers. In the endgame screen, it makes me sad to see the David's a bit upset, because I thought he was one of the best players, but we get a good GG from everyone else, so I'm happy in the end. Anyway, I want to explore this format more, so let me know what you think of it in the comments, and I'll see you later.